All right, so one of the key fundamentals when it comes to developing the voice, getting rid of the vocal break and, eliminating some of the strain is how do we learn to adjust for pitch in the voice without a lot of extra things happening. Many of us have been taught that, to sing high, you need to press on the belly a bit more, you need to open your mouth a bit more, you need to kind of modify the vowels or something like that. But the challenge with that is I feel like it can mislead us and not allow us to tackle the root of the problem. And especially for some of you who are singing, or even when you're doing the exercises, you feel like you have to add a lot more effort, there's a good chance you're actually adding a lot of junk that you don't need. And so for today, I want to share with you a simple exercise that can start to highlight for you what it feels like to adjust for pitch, stretch the voice without all the extra junk happening. And more importantly, I want to share with you the principle behind all of this. Now, real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ivan. I'm a voice teacher who works with students from all around the world over Zoom. And really on this channel, my goal is to make learning how to sing as simple and as easy as possible. So if that is up your lane, consider subscribing. And if after seeing these tutorials, you want to improve your voice faster and you feel like I'm a good person to help you with this, check out some of the links down in the description. I've got ways to work with me privately, one-on-one lessons, and also some structured self-study programs that you can work through at your own pace. Last but not least, if you want to inspire our next episode, drop down in the comments down below what you want me to talk about next. So the exercise I want to come back to today is, can I go up and down my range on a simple oo vowel, without anything except the pitch changing? Now, the reason why is personally for me and for a lot of my students, I find that this is the easiest one to notice when things are changing, when we're adding a lot of extra junk, but also the easiest one to notice what it feels like to adjust for pitch. So let's break it down so it makes a bit more sense. And I'll also share some demonstrations and cues that you can look for and focus on. Step one here, we're going to find a oo vowel in a very specific quality. For example, ooh, ooh, ooh. Now, just a couple of cues to look out for. Personally, for me, I notice a purity or like a hollow or even like a hootiness to the sound. And really, I would encourage you to just bounce around your range, especially some of the lower notes, just to see if you can find this quality. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now, the second thing here is we're going to stick with a gentle volume. The reason why we're sticking with this gentle volume is, number one, it's going to make it very obvious when we change things. And then the second part is it's also going to be a bit safer on your voice because there's not so much pressure on your chords. Now, the key thing to caveat here is it's not a breathy sound like this. There's a bit of connection and there's a bit of resistance coming from the vocal folds, but it is a gentle connection. So see if you can find this. Because once you find this quality, it really becomes very simple. Step number two is, can I go up and down my range without losing this particular sound? The volume and also that purity in the vowel. Do not change that. Can I just go up and down my range, adjust for pitch without losing this sound, the purity in the vowel, and also the gentleness in the volume? For example, now, you can really do any scale that you want, even simple slides like this. Even simple slides like that can work. And it's going to feel tricky initially. It's going to feel like you're walking on a bit of a tightrope, but that's okay. You don't have to get it perfect every single time. If anything, some of the ones that I have done today, some of the demonstrations, I feel like I could do even better. But ultimately, what is important is coming back to this principle of how can I go up and down my range, adjust the pitch without changing that initial kind of quality that I had, the connection, that gentle kind of pressure, that gentle kind of volume, or the roundness of the vowel. How can I move up and down my range without changing that? Because if you can build that discipline and you come back to this exercise every single day and you make sure you're not really changing anything but the pitch, then you're going to start to build a really cool skill set, which is I can now go up and down my range without having to mess around or add anything unnecessary. Now, of course, you can actually eventually add some weight, some volume back into this, but because it's built on this feeling of stretch, you notice it's going to feel easier, there's going to be less strain, and most importantly, there's going to be less of that annoying kind of vocal break. Anyway, team, hopefully you have found this episode useful. If you did, please do all the usual social media stuff. This really helps the channel and it really means a lot to me. And if you want to improve your voice faster, once again, there are links down in the description on how you can work with me privately. Apart from that, thank you so much for joining me on this episode. My name is Ivan, I'm your voice teacher, and I'll see you every single Thursday or Friday, depending on where you're joining me from. Take care.